Hello and welcome back to Hydroponics Daily, your go-to podcast for everything soilless cultivation. I'm your host, Dr. Russell Sharp, and on previous episode, I talked about freeze drying and how it could be useful for certain crops, and especially for people who wanted to sell online in e-commerce as a high-value product that could be preserved for a long time so you didn't have to rush to get it through to the end user. A couple of things have come to light since I did then. There is actually freeze-dried flowers you can buy, and this could, and particularly confetti, rose petals and things like this can actually be freeze-dried. Very expensive process. Actually, the best preserved roses, though, they actually they replace the sap with glycerin, and almost like preserving them for like in a museum exhibition. So they're very expensive roses, but you can buy them. So if you look at preserved roses, you'll see these bright red or dark red roses that look completely different to dried roses and can be used on displays for years, up to 3 years. If you put them in a glass jar, then multiple years. So that's really interesting. But I think that could be used further. If I was a legal cannabis grower, I would do this and then send my preserved glycerin imbued flowers to dispensaries if it was in America, and you could have the flowers on display in glass jars looking like they were fresh just before harvest rather than the dried buds, and I think that would look amazing. Other techniques I've seen in hops, which is in the cannabis family, is cutting the hops and then allowing them to sit almost like cut flowers in a vase, but in a dilute solution of citric acid, and that helps preserve them and the colour when you subsequently dry the hops. So that could be an option as well in the legal cannabis space. So freeze drying is an option, glycerin in imbued flowers, and then citric acid, using citric acid for then subsequent drying. With the glycerin, you don't dry them, and obviously freeze drying you do. Definitely something to play around with if you are looking to produce amazing displays of a flower crop, or even some non-flower crops. I think this would be a good one to look at. Freeze drying is used very nichely in hops to produce dried hops, but no commercial hop suppliers supply freeze-dried hops because they're just not as good as the fresh hops or conventionally preserved hops. So normally they extract the hop chemicals, I don't know what the word is, the whole host of different flavour, aroma compounds from the hops. That's the best way of concentrating them down. Freeze-drying is not really the option there, but could be an option in your crop. So have a look at that. So flower crops particularly, but this glycerin, replacement of the sap with glycerin, I think that is a good one to look at if you're looking to display your produce in any shops, dispensaries, anything like that. I would look into that. That would be a top level thing to do, something that only the best growers would have this scientific knowledge to really pull off. And if you're in ornamentals as well, if you're growing roses and you're looking for an outlet for super high premium or any flower crop, any ornamental crop, then using this method to preserve your flowers for up to 3 years. I think that's a fantastic way of doing it. Obviously, the customer doesn't come back to you for 3 years for more flowers, but they're not going to other people as well, and they will consider you to be the premium supplier. So it's definitely one to look at. Okay, that's a short and sweet one for today. That's been Hydroponics Daily. If you've liked this, please leave a review. Make sure you click follow. And if you're looking for interesting fertilizers, novel biostimulants, or organic biopesticides, check out my company, utrema.co.uk. And if you can't spell Utrema, it's Latin for wasabi. Thank you very much for listening. And until tomorrow, goodbye.